Now the first example is we have to form the quadratic equation for this one and this one. So there are basically two sums. This is the main question. Form an equation, meaning form the quadratic equation. So the rule is, if you want to form the quadratic equation, you need the two roots. So x squared minus sum of the roots x plus product of the roots equals to 0. So this is the main information that we have to do. So all we have to do is follow the information. So let's start with question number 1. So one of the root x1 is alpha by beta and the other one is beta by alpha. So let's find the sum of the roots. So alpha by beta plus beta by alpha. So if you take the LCM, it would be alpha beta. So beta and beta cancels off. So we get alpha squared plus alpha and alpha cancels off. We get beta squared. Now we need to do something about this because this is an algebraic form and we need to find this in numbers. We need to find the value. So how to do that? Let's do the product. What does the product look like? So the product would be alpha by beta, that is one of the root. This is x1, one of the roots, and the other root is beta by alpha. So beta by alpha. So this alpha and this alpha cancel, this beta and this beta cancel. So we have the value to be 1. So the product of the root is 1 and we are still stuck here. So remember, they will give you some algebraic information and this is the information. This is the information. It is for the equation fx equals to 0, one of the root is alpha and the other one is beta. This information basically means is that alpha plus beta equals to minus of minus 4 by 2, which is 4 by 2 meaning 2, and alpha into beta is minus 9 by 2. This is what it means. They are giving us the information of alpha plus beta is 2 and alpha into beta is minus 9 by 2, and using this information we are supposed to find the values of the sum of the roots and the product of the roots. Now how does this work? Now when you have an information like this, what happens is that if you have a quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 and the roots are, one of the roots are x1 equals to alpha and the other root is x2 is beta. Remember, this sum has nothing to do with forming the quadratic equation whose roots are alpha by beta and beta by alpha. This is an algebraic portion using which we can find the value, the algebraic value of alpha squared plus beta squared and alpha into beta. So that is the main intention. So this is the rule. If you are given a quadratic equation and you know the roots, then the sum of the roots alpha plus beta is the negative coefficient of x, so it would be minus b divided by a, and the product would be alpha into beta, that would be the coefficient of the constant, which is c divided by a. So this is the value that they would give at the beginning of every sum so that the algebra is simpler. So using that, I just found out alpha plus beta equals to minus b by a. So b is minus 4. So minus b means plus 4 divided by a is 2, so which would be 2, and alpha into beta is c by a. C is minus 9 divided by a. So now we can continue the sum for this one. So we have to find the value of alpha squared plus beta squared. So alpha squared plus beta squared, as you remember, uses the identity, the algebraic identity, which is alpha plus beta whole squared minus 2 alpha beta, and this is alpha beta. So this turns out to be, so alpha plus beta whole squared is 2 squared because alpha plus beta has the value 2. So minus 2 into alpha beta, and alpha beta has the value of minus 9 by 2. So this would be minus 9 by 2 divided by alpha beta, which would be minus 9 by 2. So let's simplify this. Upstairs we have 2 squared, which is 4, minus minus plus 2 into 9 by 2 is 9, and we have minus 9 by 2. So this turns out to be 9 plus 4 is 13. So we have 13 divided by minus 9 by 2. So this turns out to be minus 13 into 2 is 26 and divided by 9. So this turns out to be minus 26 by 9. So we know the sum of the roots. Remember, for the equation that we have to form, that has roots x1 alpha by beta and x2 beta by alpha, and we are going to find the root of this the quadratic equation of these two roots. So we can write hence x squared minus sum of the root. So the sum of the root is minus 26 by 9 x plus product of the root is 1 equals to 0. So now it is important to have the coefficient to be integer. So what we can write, multiply both sides with 9. That turns out to be 9x squared minus 1 is plus 26 by 9 into 9 is 26x plus 9 ones are 9 equals to 0. So this is going to be the quadratic equation whose roots are alpha by beta and beta by alpha. Now the next one here, the roots are given. We have one of the root is 3 alpha plus beta, so x1 is 3 alpha plus beta, and the other root is alpha plus 3 beta, so alpha plus 3 beta. So the idea is to form a quadratic equation whose roots are these. Remember again, the first information that is given, it is the value of alpha plus beta and the value of alpha into beta, which is not a part of the sum, but it is used to find the value of alpha plus beta and alpha into beta that is given at the beginning of every sum of this type, so that we can manipulate the algebra even simpler. So let's start with this sum. So what we have, so number 2, so first of all, sum of the roots. So the sum of the roots would be 3 alpha plus beta, this is one of the roots, plus alpha plus 3 beta. So this is much simpler. So 3 alpha plus alpha is 4 alpha plus beta plus 3 beta is 4 beta. So if we take 4 to be common, it would be alpha plus beta. And we know the value of alpha plus beta is 2. So we can write 4 into 2, which is 8. Now the product. So now we have to product, multiply the roots. So 3 alpha plus beta times alpha plus 3 beta. So let's multiply. 3 alpha into alpha is 3 alpha squared plus 3 alpha into 3 beta is 3 to the 9 alpha beta plus alpha into beta is alpha beta plus beta into 3 beta is 3 beta squared. So now we can write, so if you take 3 common, it becomes alpha squared plus beta squared plus this is 9 alpha beta plus alpha beta. This turns out to be 10 alpha beta. Now we already know the identity of alpha squared plus beta squared. So this is going to be alpha plus beta whole squared minus 2 alpha beta. So that is the identity. So we have broken down alpha squared plus beta squared into the format of alpha plus beta and alpha into beta. That is the main intention. You see, the identities have to be, they have to match with the given information, and the given information is always alpha plus beta and alpha into beta, the values of these two. So we know, and this is plus 10 alpha beta. So we know alpha plus beta is 2, so this is 2 squared minus 2 into alpha into beta is minus 9 by 2 plus 10 alpha into beta is minus 9 by 2. So let's simplify this. The 2 squared is 4 minus minus plus, so 9 by 2 into 2 is going to be 9. Now this is 2 5s are 10, so minus 5 9s are 45. So it turns out to be, so 9 plus 4 is 13, 13 3s are 39, minus 45, which turns out to be minus 6. So now we have both the sum of the roots and the product of the roots. So remember the rule of finding the quadratic equation when the roots are known. It is x squared minus sum of the roots x plus product of the roots equals to 0. So this is what happens. So we can write, hence So the equation is going to be x squared minus sum of the root, which is 8, x plus product of the root, which is minus 6, equals to 0. So this is going to be x squared minus 8x minus 6 equals to 0.